This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Wendy Griffith, and this is CBN NewsWatch. Well, America's economy is booming, and unemployment rates are at an all-time low. CBN's Mark Martin spoke with financial expert and president of Financial Issues Stewardship Ministries, Dan Celia, to take a look at how consumer spending this holiday season is playing a role.
Joining us now with more is Dan Celia, president of Financial Issues Stewardship Ministries. Dan, how is the economy looking so far this Christmas season?
Mark, it looks tremendous, a lot better than a lot of people had expected or, for that matter, even hoped. This has been an amazing holiday season from Black Friday all the way through to where we are today. So this is going to be a very good Christmas season for retailers. Retail numbers for the month of November were very good, obviously after that great Black Friday weekend that retailers had. And I expect the same for the end of this year. Frankly, I think we're going to see some of the best numbers we've seen in many years.
How much does consumer spending this time of the year affect the economy long term?
Well, I think what it does, Mark, is it kind of sets the tone for long term, for the first quarter next year. So if consumer spending is really good now, anytime consumer spending is really good, it comes with a lot of optimism, right? Because it's the optimism that consumers are feeling that prompts them to be willing to spend money a little bit more and to get out there and visit more and more stores. So I think that optimism definitely carries in to at least through the first quarter of next year. So it's extremely important as we get into a new year.
You already talked about this, but I want you to expound on that. How does this year compare to others as far as spending goes?
Oh, my word, Mark, it's not compared. We have to go back to at least 16 years to see the kind of optimism that we had this Christmas season. It is unbelievable. And you can see that through consumer income, savings rates, spending. It has been extremely high all this year leading up to Black Friday. So it only stands to reason that that optimism is going to continue. But it's a real optimism. And what I mean by that, Mark, it's not built upon a lot of false positives in the economy. This is very, very real. Unemployment rate being at historical levels. We haven't seen increases in wages like this in at least 12 years. I have to go back, according to my numbers, 18 years, and people are feeling that in their discretionary income. So this has been an incredibly optimistic year, and it is going to carry through early part of next year. Still a lot of uncertainty, but it is incredibly important for retailers, but more importantly, for the economy long term.
And let's talk more about Black Friday. We've touched on it throughout the interview. Do you have any specific numbers on how well Black Friday did this year?
Well, Black Friday was $9.2 billion. That was a very big number. It was up about 16% year over year, so up compared to last year. Last year was a pretty good year, but not a great year. Black Friday was very, very good. All through the weekend, though, Mark, we saw spending. Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday, all of those things were up considerable compared to last year and the year before. So again, it all goes back to that optimism. Remember, Mark, we're a consumer-driven economy. So 71% of our economy is based on you and I buying stuff. That's what makes our economy go around. And We are seeing that in huge numbers. It's why consumer confidence is probably more important in America than it is almost any other country.
Hey, Dan Seeley, a financial expert. Thank you so much, Dan, for sharing your insights with us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Mark. Merry Christmas to you.
And you as well.
Well, you may have noticed your clothes fitting a little bit tighter than usual. Most people pack on the pounds at Christmas time, but our health reporter Lori Johnson shows us some tips to avoid that all too common holiday weight gain.
Those delicious goodies we love this time of year carry a price.
The average American gains about 8 to 10 pounds from Thanksgiving until New Year's.
Ideally, come January, we'll lose them, but all too often that just doesn't happen. So dietitian Kelly Freno shares tips on how to avoid gaining in the first place, starting with strategies for food-laden get-togethers.
Some things we can do is make sure we're choosing healthy foods. So making sure that we enjoy lean sources of meat like turkey, ham, and salmon, making half of our plates non-starchy vegetables.
Also, choose smaller portions, eat slowly, and no seconds. The best way to avoid overdoing it at your holiday gathering is to eat something healthy and filling beforehand, like a handful of nuts, a hard-boiled egg, or a salad. Drink plenty of water before and during the event.
Cautious though on the high sugary beverages, so careful on the eggnog. Also watch out for our alcohol intake. One 5-ounce glass of wine has 120 calories. If you have 2 or 3 of those throughout the evening, those calories really add up quickly.
Make time to exercise. It not only burns those extra calories, it also acts as a stress reliever, minimizing your temptation to stress eat. It's hard to eat healthy when people twist your arm with words like, "Come on, it's the holidays," or "I made this myself just for you." But don't give in to peer pressure.
Kind of preparing yourself with a healthy, happy, no thank you, or the dish looks great, but I'm full, it's been a delight. So learning how to politely say no can be very engaging during a holiday party without being overbearing or insulting.
Finally, weigh yourself every day. Research shows this reality check helps you minimize your weight gain. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
And health reporter Lori Johnson joins us now for more on this topic. And Lori, you know I love to bake, and I made Christmas cookies today, and but these are very thin. They're extremely thin, and I think there's probably only a few calories in there. But, what are some other healthy swaps? Let me just put those over here.
Those are beautiful, and I have to say, good job, Wendy, and they are very tempting. Look at that, we've got a nice, and see, that star is actually really thick. You did a great job, and they're very tempting, and so, if, the experts would say, go ahead and have one.
Okay.
And allow yourself to have one, but then
Nice.
stop after one, and then fill up with healthy things.
Because then you don't feel deprived. I hate to feel deprived, I've
That's
got to
right.
taste everything.
Right.
And so that's great advice. Well, lots of people go to restaurants this time of year. What are some strategies if you're eating out?
Well, did you know, Wendy, this is shocking. I couldn't believe it. Most entrees at restaurants have 1,000 calories. So one of the best tips if you're going out to eat is when you sit down to order, right then and there, ask your server to bring half of your entree in a to-go container.
Wow.
Because research shows that if we wait, we'll actually end up eating it from our plate. If we decide ahead of time, at the end of the meal, I'm going to have half of this taken away, because we sort of have this desire to eat whatever is on the plate in front of us. Another thing that we really need to remember to do when we're eating out at restaurants is eat beforehand, which sounds a little bit weird, but eat a salad or an egg or some nuts or something, because this time of year, the wait times at restaurants are so long. And then if you have a large group, it takes so long. By the time the food actually gets to the table, you're ravenous.
Your blood sugar
and
is
you,
like
right,
going
and you can't stop eating. And then of course, then there are the rolls on the table. So if you get to a restaurant and you're too hungry, you're going to eat that entire thing of rolls or the breadsticks at Olive Garden.
I can usually resist the bread unless it's homemade, and then I'm like, give it here.
I know. And another really great tip about going out to eat is you can order an appetizer and a side salad, which is a reasonable meal. There's no law that says you have to order an entree. So yeah, that's a good way to manage the restaurant.
All right, great advice. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you too.
All right, well, coming up, how one doctor is providing medical care in a unique way, and he hopes to help.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
I think as a father, it's my job, to lead, just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Welcome back. Well, one man is using modern technology that we use every day with smartphones and tablets to help anyone, anywhere, to get the medical care that they need. Our Mark Martin spoke with Dr. Clint Phillips for more on his unique company.
First of all, tell us about these programs, Medici and Second MD, and what they do.
Second MD was founded after my little girl had a stroke. We were living in Colorado and we didn't have access to a pediatric neurologist, and we realized just how hard it was for a family to be able to access a top doctor or even know who the top doctor is for their condition. So we started a network of the 300 best doctors in the country at the top hospitals, Mayo and Cleveland Clinic and Johns Hopkins and MD Anderson, that would provide access for a second opinion and be able to do it by video. We retrieve all your medical records, and within 3 days, you're speaking to the best doctor in the country for your condition. My daughter was paralyzed down the right side of her body. We had no idea what to do, and by God's grace, came up with this idea that now helps thousands and thousands of people regularly. We have over 10 million members at large employers that provide free access to our service for their employees. But we ran into a second challenge after we had solved second opinions, and that was people had a very hard time just with the everyday communication within healthcare. To be able to get a prescription refill, to be able to get referred, you have to wait days or weeks, sit in a doctor's office, go through interviews, fill out paperwork, all just to ask a simple question of a doctor. So we said, what if we could build a world where you could text your doctor, your psychologist, your veterinarian, your nutritionist, your pediatrician, anybody in your world, that allowed you to be able to not have to leave work or school or family to be able to interact with your medical providers. We call that Medici. It is a separate company and growing rapidly, and very excited to see if we can reach 1 billion people around the world one day with Medici.
And currently, what kind of results are you seeing?
Well, it's amazing for people who tell us that they used to have to drive 75 minutes to the doctor to sit there for a few hours to get a refill, and now they shoot a text and they can pick it up at any CVS, Walgreens, or Walmart, is, you know, a remarkable type of turnaround. There's people who get to be able to find out that their doctor is not right, or can refer them to somebody that is correct, and not have to wait days or weeks or spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to be able to go and sit at a doctor's office. So the opportunities is incredible. We have 20,000 doctors on Medici. Our goal is to have 1 million doctors around the world using Medici, but we are going to take these 20,000 and allow them all sorts of new opportunities to manage their patients in new and better ways.
How are doctors responding to all this?
You know, doctors are undergoing a huge amount of change right now. There's a lot of competition that doctors are facing. There's a lot of administration. There's a lot of bureaucracy. So doctors are looking for better ways to be able to manage their patients and have some quality of life. Doctors are at all-time high suicide, depression, wanting to leave the medical field, regret over choosing medicine, you know, some really horrible statistics coming out. So we're trying to really come alongside these doctors and say, Doc, imagine working from home 2 days a week and being able to use text and video and be paid to be able to manage your patients in new ways. And that gets some doctors really excited. For some doctors, the change is a little too much, and they go, well, I'm not ready for that, and that's okay.
How can folks learn more, Clint?
Folks can go to medici.md, and if they're a doctor, they can go to read about doctors. Patients can read about patients. Otherwise, if you're a patient, download the app. In the App Store, it's in Google, and it's in it's in Apple and Android, and you can be connected to doctors that are in your state or in your city. Alternatively, you can invite any medical provider in the country onto Medici. All you have to do is just put in their name and city, and it will send them an invitation to be able to provide care to you, provided that you are a patient with that provider.
All right, Clint Phillips with Medici and 2nd MD. Thanks for your time, Clint.
Thanking you. God bless you.
You too.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Meet the pastors who are preaching the gospel in a fresh, fearless way. I'm Roberto Torres-Cedillo. Join me each week for Next Gen Voices. And watch God transform a generation.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
The holiday movie season begins with a unique twist on the story of Jesus' birth. The Star is an animated film about the animals in the nativity story that first came to the big screen in 2017. Now it's available to stream on Netflix. Ephraim Graham shows us how this funny cartoon still captures the heart of the greatest story ever told.
Hang on! Cyrus! I expected a left turn 2 deserts ago.
These wise guys are lost. That's it. I'm fighting through the rains.
You might call this the greatest story never told. The Star gives us a look at the very first Christmas through the eyes of the animals.
You jump out and create a distraction.
It's a story we've heard so many times, and so if it was going to be worth making a movie about this at all, we had to find a way to present it in a fresh way. And that's where we decided to tell the story from the point of view of the animals.
Animator Timothy Record directs the film, and the star-packed cast of voices.
It's the wise men.
Hide quickly. Look up!
The other way.
The other left.
Deborah, are you okay?
Including Tyler Perry, Tracy Morgan, and Oprah Winfrey as camels.
The new king's in danger.
Run for your life!
Get out of the way! Here's a little well-placed distraction.
Whoever thought to write this from the point of view of the animals, I think it's another approach that allows us another way in to be inspired by an ageless, timeless story.
Bo? Mary, you're in danger. You need to listen to what I'm about to say extremely carefully.
You ever feel like he's trying to talk to us?
Gina Rodriguez is the voice of Mary. Where do you go to play an animated mother of Jesus? Where do you research?
There you go. Yeah, I mean, where do you research? You know, I grew up with a nativity story. So I am very aware of the story. Like, it's ingrained in me. I had seen some version of it every Christmas with my grandmother or my mother. And so for me, the story was second nature, if you will. Playing Mary was playing my mother, playing my grandmother, playing my sisters. These women that I see give of themselves every single day. So it was very easy to pull from my real life.
It seems it was a bit of a tribute to your grandmother. Is that fair to say?
I would say that everything's a tribute to my grandmother, but definitely this is a tribute to my grandmother. It's an opportunity for my whole family to get together and watch a project that I've done. For my grandmother to be the last standing matriarch of our family, the only grandparent I have left. It is my gift to her to kind of oversee all that we've done, and she has an opportunity to be with all of us.
And you've watched her live out her faith.
I mean, every day. Still does. Yeah.
I'm Joseph. I'm in a bad mood.
Wait. Is that supposed to be me?
Zachary Levy is the voice of Joseph. Joseph in animation, where do you go to prepare?
The source material is pretty much all you have to work with. And even in the source material, there's not much to go on. It's a lot of bullet points. But that's kind of a fun license to create, you know? It's not like a character like Paul. There's a bunch of source material on, and then everyone's gonna have their 2 cents of who they think Paul really was. With Joseph, everyone's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was a guy who was a carpenter, he was married to Mary, and then the baby and the thing. But I think ultimately, you go to the same place that anyone else would go to when we are struck with, we had an idea of what our life was gonna be, and then it wasn't. And it wasn't not because we did something, but because something else has happened to us. And then where do we go? Typically, we start becoming very frustrated and perhaps even angry, going, what is this? Why did you do this to me? I've been good, I've done this, I've done that, I haven't done those other things. But we can all still identify with the human level of that frustration and that wrestling with God. You know, and also as a person of faith, you know, knowing what it's like to wrestle with the Creator and also try and find peace beyond understanding.
Can you help me?
I got you. I'm gonna chew him free.
Woody, no. Try biting the...
I know. I'll sing you free.
That was beautiful.
In terms of telling this story, personally, what has it meant to you? Because we all grew up with this story, and now you get to possibly contribute a holiday tradition to many families.
When I was growing up, we had a box of tapes that we would take out and watch every Christmas, and none of those tapes that the kids wanted to watch were actually about the birth of Jesus. We had plenty of Santa Claus movies, we had Christmas Carol, but where was the animated film about the birth of Jesus? Just so wonderful to be part of something, of bringing a movie into existence that I didn't have as a kid, that I wish I did.
Do you want a belly rub?
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Los Angeles.
This holiday season.
Yeah, I got the I'm dancing around because I want it. I'm moving around because I got it. Joy's in the heart. I'm dancing around because I want it. I'm moving around because I got it. Joy's in the heart.
On the home front.
Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
On the home front, Tuesday morning at 10:30.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government.
My focus has been trying to really make sure we have the future leaders we need for the bench and the bar and for society generally.
You'll learn from highly credentialed leaders who are current and former judges, distinguished scholars, and ACLJ counsel.
I'm so glad I chose Regent. The relationships here have been amazing. The faculty have been amazing. Not everybody's called to the same thing when they leave law school, but they're called by a God who has a purpose for their lives, and He is going to use that education to make a difference in the world.
Regent will prepare you to be a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer. To start your rewarding law career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July. Apply today.
Christmas is practically here, and it's important to remember the reason for the season. This Christmas, don't forget about the men and women of the U.S. military who won't be home to celebrate with their loved ones. There's a popular quote that reads, "Only two defining forces have ever offered to die for us, Jesus Christ and the American soldier. One died for your soul, the other died for your freedom." American troops stationed all over the world are wishing their family and friends a very Merry Christmas, and we wish them a Merry Christmas. Take a look.
Season's greetings, family and friends. On behalf of the officers and crew of the USS Germantown, embarked Marines from Easy Company Victor 2-2 and the sailors from Naval Beach Unit 7, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your continued love and support as we sail together as a Navy Marine Corps team in the Indo-Pacific this holiday season. One team, one fight. Happy holidays!
Howdy, y'all. Huge shout out to our family and friends back home. Thank you so much for everything you do. We can't do what we do out here without you. From the Panthers of Tinker Air Force Base and Al Dhafra Air Base, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. 1, 2, 3.
Happy holidays! From LSAT Air Base, Iraq. Happy holidays! Season's greetings and happy holidays!
All the way from Iraq. God bless our servicemen and women. That's it for us. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day, and God bless you.